Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, I did not get a video out yesterday afternoon, in case you didn't notice. Usually I try to get one out in the afternoon, and it didn't happen, but it didn't happen for a pretty good reason. I'm not going to give you all the details yet. You might see it in this afternoon's video. Not really sure, but I had to run to another area of the Ozarks last night to pick up something that I purchased from someone that I'm kind of excited about it. It was an amazing deal. It was just one of those things that when you find it for that price, you just can't hardly, walk away from it. And it has definitely some, I think, pretty cool prepping applications. And for our community, and that's about all I'm going to tell you right now. Trying to leave you, curious. We'll see how it goes. I have a super busy day today. Already this morning, I've been up since 5, something like that, trying to figure out how I'm going to get everything done that I really need to get done today. So we'll see if I get to a video on it this afternoon or not, but. Anyways, that's why there was no video, and so I'm excited. Got a lot of ideas of how to, show you folks some ideas on what you can do to get a little bit more prepared, and then just also for our personal preparedness and for our community. So anyways, that's what's going on with that. The year is about to end. Is it just me, or do we always do this? Around this time of the year, we're always like, man, is the year almost over? This just sounds crazy. It just doesn't feel like it's possible that the year's almost over. Well, we're at that time again. That it's just, my goodness, we have to, it's a whole new year. I mean, it used to be that you had to worry about putting the right date on your checks, but no one writes checks anymore. So I guess, at least most of you don't. Guess that doesn't matter anymore, but it is a year that's coming to an end, and I think that next year has a lot to hold for us. Always remember that that next year is a big election year, a really big one, and I think that we're going to see a lot of stuff happen. I personally have believed for a long time that the elections are already pretty much, someone somewhere already knows who's going to win and how it's going to turn out. But for the American people, they have to keep up this, keep up the charade so that people believe that they actually have a chance of getting the guy that they really want or whatever. So because of that, I think there's going to be a lot that happens, and we should be preparing accordingly for it. I know that myself and many others say this just about every year, that, the next year it's going to get worse. Well, folks, it's been getting worse for the last few years. It just has been. The economy has been worsening. The government control in our lives has been worsening. The evilness and the immorality and just the sickening behavior of society has certainly been worsening for the last few years. So I think it's pretty safe to say that next year is going to get worse, and we need to be acting in accordance to that. Food is going to get more expensive. All the predictions, government, private organizations, everyone. I've not seen anyone that say that there's a prediction that food costs are going to come down in 2024. Everyone's saying that the food cost increase will continue through next year, and then probably at least through 2025 before there's maybe a chance. I don't know what they're planning on happening in 2025, make everyone start eating bugs. But most of it I've seen, show through at least 2025 we're going to see high food costs. And for those of you that might say, well, you've been saying that food's going to be a problem for the last few years. Yes, and it has been every year, and it's been getting worse. I mean, I don't eat the stuff, and I haven't for years. I was thinking the other day, I can't remember the last time I've eaten McDonald's. It's been many years. But according to what everyone else is saying, that it's like $17, $18, $20 a person to go get a meal at McDonald's. That's absurd. I know that Oh, it's been a little bit, but a few months ago, one of the rare moments that we were kind of out in another city, and we decided to stop, and it was just a little diner. I mean, it wasn't anything fancy. It was just a little diner that served hamburgers, and we went in there, and their hamburgers were nothing special. They were nothing special, and their hamburgers were like $15 to $17 a piece. I was like, what? It was just this little dinky. Wow, it was just crazy. Anyways, food costs are going to get more. If you don't believe me, you probably haven't been eating food much lately or gone to a grocery store, because, you go to the grocery store and you buy one bag, maybe two bags full of groceries, and it's easy to have $100+ in 2 bags of groceries, or much more, in fact. So that's going to get worse. Just recently, the prediction is that, or the assessment, I guess, is on global food conditions, is that it's actually worse than it was during the Arab Spring, which some of you remember that. That's something to take serious. We have to be ready on that. And here's what I worry about when it comes to food and a lot of you, is that because stocking up and being prepared with food is kind of like the basic entry-level prepper thing. I mean, even people that may not really consider themselves preppers, they're kind of interested in it and learning, they at least know to stock up on food, right? And so I wonder sometimes if that, because of that we kind of discount that as like, oh, I don't really need to focus on what kind of food or how much food, because I already know that. We have extra stuff. And then you realize that you actually don't have extra stuff, or you haven't checked on it in a while, and maybe some of it's no good, or, whatever the deal is. And so I really want to encourage you to be getting your food stores in order. You should be rotating them, obviously. You should be eating out of it as much as possible, and then adding to it. That way you always have fairly fresh food. But you need to be inspecting it and adding to it. It's getting more and more expensive, so your dollar's buying less food than it would have been a year or two ago, but most likely it's going to just get worse. So whatever you buy today is going to end up being cheaper, so to speak, than it would be a year from now. So be stocking up on your food and taking it seriously. Also, I say this every year, and I mean it every year. This is the year to be producing a lot of food. You need to be planning ahead. I know it's getting into winter time, and you're thinking, I'm not really focused on gardening right now. It's winter. We're getting, our firewood in. We're doing all the things to kind of get ready for, the snows and cold weather and stuff. Right, but it's also the time of the year that you should be planning on your food production. And I want to encourage you and push you to go all out as much as possible. Expand your garden, because when the day comes that you have to kind of live out of your garden and whatever else food you produce, you're going to realize that it takes a whole lot more than you thought to produce food. Government is just going to get crazier. The stuff that's going to happen, false flags, different narratives and psyops, we're gonna see that stuff play out. I think guns is going to become a bigger and bigger issue for them. I think continually trying to shift a narrative that, or not shift because it's already shifted, but push this narrative even further, that conservatives and vets and patriotic people and all this kind of stuff are really bad people. And I think we're going to start seeing more and more of that kind of stuff happen. That would further that narrative. So be prepared for that. As far as a health crisis, maybe it's this white lung pneumonia, maybe it's something else. I still think that that's a very likely scenario. I'm not saying it will happen, but I think it's very likely. Even if it's not the primary thing that happens, it could possibly be enough. I know I've heard from people recently that just in the last few weeks, they've been seeing a lot more people wherever they live wearing face diapers. They've been seeing a lot more of that. So I think a lot of people are starting to get worried, and so we're starting to see reactions to that. There's all sorts of things that are going on, wars. Those are probably all going to become worse. I know that's very pessimistic, but I think that's probably going to be the case. We may see an end to the Russia-Ukraine war, but I think there's going to only be two ways. It's either going to go out with a really big, maybe nuclear explosion, or it's just they're going to do their best to try to distract you and just kind of let it die off as much as possible to where you don't even think about it anymore. I don't know, but there's a lot going on when it comes to war, global, problems, and so that's going to get worse. The illegal immigration thing, that's going to just we're going to start seeing issues with it. Mostly right now the reported issues, doesn't mean it's the only issues, just the reported issues, have been in a few big cities, Texas and a few big cities. We're going to start seeing these issues spread around the country. In your little small communities, you're going to start seeing some real problems. It's already being reported. I get people telling me all the time, they live in a town, 5,000-10,000 people. And then all of a sudden, they're seeing, groups of illegals congregating on street corners and outside businesses. And I've even received reports of people in their small towns watching big white buses that are probably government contracted buses pulling up and dropping off a bunch of illegals and then leaving in their little small towns. And the town councils and stuff don't even know what's happening. It's not like that they're notifying these small towns. They're just randomly dropping them off in places. So that's going to become a bigger problem. Remember a few months back, that little island in Italy, was it Lampedusa? I'm probably mispronouncing it wrong, that's fine. You know what I'm talking about. The one that had like 6,000 to 7,000 residents, and then just overnight, it was like 8,000, 10,000 people from Africa showed up on boats. Remember that town? Well, it hasn't stopped. And there's still about 6,000 or 7,000 original residents there, but they estimate now that there's about 200,000. Yeah, 200,000 illegals on that island. So it's going to just keep getting worse. There's videos every day of them crossing the border. There was one just yesterday of several hundred. I mean, it's hard to get thousands and thousands in one video, but there was a long line of them crossing the border, and from the looks of the video, probably at least 80+% of them were military-aged males from what appeared to be China. That's a long walk from China to the southern border. Anyways, that's going to continue to be a problem. I'm not making any predictions on the election. I'm not making any predictions at all. I'm just telling you what I think we're going to see. As far as the election next year, I honestly don't care. I really don't care. I don't think it's going to. I think the chosen path has already been chosen, and that's whatever it is. That's where we're going to go. And I don't really think that whoever gets elected is going to matter too much. But that's my personal opinion. You don't have to share it. The bottom line is a lot of people kind of tend to take a little bit of a break in the winter months, especially December. A lot of you do holiday stuff. And so it's more of a time of reflection and family, and that's fine. There should be. It's nothing wrong with that. But I think also it distracts us from other things, and we're not focused on, wow, we need to continue our preparations. Yes, do family stuff and all that, but not forget what's going on. And then usually by about mid-January to end of January, something happens, right? Last year it was the same way. Something happens, and it catches everyone's attention, and it wakes us from our sleep. We're like, oh my goodness, it's like I've been asleep for the last 6 to 8 weeks. Oh, I'm in this panic now. I haven't been prepping for 2 months now, and now I got to get ready. Don't allow that to happen. Continue with your preparedness. Continue focusing on what's going on as much as possible through this time of the year, because it's going to get worse, folks. It is. And next year's probably not going to be a good thing. We could easily see central bank digital currency make its full debut here in the United States. I could see, I'm sure, probably a lot of market problems, economy, banking collapses, gold going up even further, probably US dollar dropping even lower. BRICS is going to be expanding a lot come January 1st. So there's just a lot going on, and you need to be getting ready for it. So anyways, I thought I would run through this to kind of encourage you, remind you and encourage you that we're about to enter a new year. And as exciting as that may be in some ways, I think this new year is going to bring us a lot of headache and hardship. And we need to be preparing for that accordingly. Get your houses in order, folks, and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.